Hey guys, before we get started, really quick, I do need to apologize because I am no longer shouting out people's websites or channels on Convention Storytime who send me in stories because I was getting a lot of stories that were clearly made up just so that I would shout people out. I do apologize for this, but I want my stories to be completely genuine. So, sorry, but without further ado, let's get into the stories. So my friend and I have a tradition now every time we go to Anime Festival Wichita. At night, when everything starts dying down, we go down to the bar that's located in the lobby of the Hyatt. Now for some reason, it seems that every year we have a good 1 to 4 weddings going on that weekend. I guess July is a good time to get married. So we are used to seeing several people in dresses and tuxedos. We really pay no mind to them as they don't either to us. My friend had yet to get into cosplay, so she was just wearing a Hot Topic gothic dress instead. I was wearing Ichigo's transformation outfit from Tokyo Mew Mew, so I had the ears and the tail. So we were in the bar next to the lobby drinking. Where we were sitting had 2 couches across from each other, and 1 chair on the left and the right of us. In the middle was an ottoman. So we were sitting on the couches facing the entranceway to the lobby. Some men walked in, obviously from the wedding, and drunk. One of the men saw my friend and I, but focused more on me. I was the one in the bright pink outfit with ears on my head and my tail sitting next to me. He walks over and asks, "What are you supposed to be?" I know being at conventions that we're often asked, "What's going on? Why are you dressed like that?" The usual. So I calmly told the guy that I was a character from an anime, that it was an anime convention. He made a comment of why I was wearing ears and he noticed the tail as well. I told him that it was from a magical girl show and she just has ears and a tail. About 10, maybe 15 minutes later, and yes, we're still drinking our strawberry daiquiris. We're very slow drinkers. The guy comes back, except he brought friends. Without notice, the man jumps on the ottoman in the middle on all fours, lifts up his hands like a cat pawing at something, and also lifting up one of his back legs and says to his friends, "This is my cat, meow meow." Both my friend and I are now looking at each other thinking, this guy is nuts. He did that for what seemed like 5 minutes before one of his friends called for him. They sat somewhere in the bar and we just couldn't help but laugh after it all sunk in. Since then, it seems that every time we go down to the bar to sit and relax, we always have something crazy happen. Well, that's my story time. This took place at a local con, maybe 1,000 people at best. It took place on a weekend in September, a few days after school started up again. So all summer I was hyped for this con and planning my cosplays. This would be my first time attending this con, and it was only this year that I got involved in my local cosplay community. Since I got involved with the community, I had an opportunity to do 2 very special things at this con. 1, be in an Ask an Anime Character panel, and 2, be Honoka, the leader in a Love Live group cosplay. So you can imagine I was pretty excited. Probably the week before the con, me and the other Ask an Anime Character panelists were discussing what we were going to talk about at the panel and what characters we'd be. I was going to be Ciel Phantom Hive from Black Butler. However, this cosplay was a little special because it's him in a ball gown, so basically a female version of him. To my surprise, one of the other panelists was going to be Alois Trancy, who's also from Black Butler. The 2 characters are well-known enemies and have a lot of scenes together in the anime, so I was looking forward to roasting the Alois cosplayer and acting in character. For the sake of keeping it simple, we'll call the Alois cosplayer Jim. The day of the con came around and I arrived dressed quite nicely, I'm not gonna lie, in my teacup-shaped ball gown. Now to give a little more background, I'm a germ freak. I like to keep hand sanitizer on me 24/7. On this day, I was wearing gloves for my costume as well. Anyway, I was mid-conversation with my friend when I suddenly feel a hand grab mine and basically pull me alongside them. I look up to see the Alois cosplayer, Jim, who started immediately speaking to me with hardly an introduction. Confused and a little nervous with touching their hand, I introduced myself and continued to walk around with them, slightly uncomfortable, yet not too phased. We walked around holding hands for literally 45 minutes, which I thought was a little excessive. We were pretty popular with the other con goers, and we were getting a lot of photos taken, which was cool and all. We did cute, elegant poses with nothing more than holding hands involved. The panel we were gonna be in was gonna start in about 30 minutes, so we set our things in the room and stayed quiet in respect for the panelist who was running her own panel when we walked in. However, Jim walked into the room and was literally yelling complaints about fellow con-goers. We simply gave them a good old shh and chose to ignore it. Since Jim couldn't contain themselves, I took them outside and simply advertised our panel by saying, Ask an Anime Character panel starts in 10 minutes. We started getting kind of attacked with photos, which I was pretty happy about. However, just as I opened the doors to the panel room and people were coming in, we posed for a couple more photos. This time, instead of holding hands, Jim threw his leg into my arms and wrapped his arms around my shoulders. I backed up a little bit to kindly just change the pose. My inner germ freak was kind of panicking because this stranger was in my arms, but Jim grabbed my face and licked me. So I sat there, horrified, with their tongue against my cheek, and they just said, "Yuck, you taste like makeup." So not only had they invaded my space, but they said it in a way that implied I was wearing too much makeup. Long story short, I was stuck, unable to wash my face because yes, I was wearing makeup, and I was stuck with Jim practically all day. Now this is by no means meant to offend any person who's over 18 and looks younger, but I am currently 13. I went to my first anime convention, Anime Milwaukee 2015, and loved it. I went with some friends and had a really good time. As you saw in Convention Review's review of the con, he said the game room was one of the best he has seen. I thought so too. But being 13 at a convention, you are not going to meet many people your age. But when you meet someone who looks your age, you start to talk to them, possibly get a friend out of them. So I was over at this table in the portable gaming section for a Pokemon tournament, when I see a girl next to me who looks like she was about 13 or 14. I start talking to her and she was nice. I finally ended up asking her how old she was, and she responded, 21. I was shocked. I thought I had finally found someone my age, but nope, 21. And this wasn't even the last time, as just this weekend, I went to a convention called DaishoCon in the Dells. I was looking through a box of figures in the vendor hall when a boy walks up next to me. He was wearing a Shiro cosplay from No Game No Life. I started talking to him and he was really nice. He apparently was going to this con with some friends, but was just off on his own at the moment. So thinking about the girl at Anime Milwaukee, I asked him, "How old are you? Sorry if I'm being too upfront about it." I'm about to explain why and he says, 23. He honestly looked 14. So I talked to him for a little bit more, but when I was done looking, I walked away being polite about it. After my first encounter with him, I didn't see him again. Hey, thanks for watching guys. Just a really quick reminder that I am having a panel on Friday at ConAltDelete. If you didn't see the video about it, be sure to watch the last video I posted before this one to get all the details. Thanks guys. Hey guys, thanks for watching this story time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as it does help a lot. I linked annotations to older story times if you want to check those out. If you want your story to be featured on Convention Storytime, read the description for all the details on how to do that. Don't forget to support me on Patreon to get videos early, get access to private videos like my unedited vlogs, my personal story times, and private Q&As with the whole crew, as well as much more. There's also an annotation for the Convention Reviews merch shop, where you can get shirts, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Don't forget to stay positive and always follow your dreams. See you in the next video.